Hey everyone, welcome to Wealth Redefined. I'm your host, Michael Reynolds, certified financial planner and owner of Elevation Financial, and I'm glad you're here as always. Welcome to the show today. Glad to see you. Today we're talking about the truth about starting a business, debunking myths about startup costs. I love this topic because so many people think that when you start a business, you need lots of money. And there's a lot of myths and misconceptions out there about starting a business. So I am excited to jump in a bit on this today. In general, starting a business is kind of a dream of lots of people. Many people dream of starting a business, of launching something of their own, being your own boss, all that stuff that comes with it. And there are, again, a lot of misconceptions about what it takes to start a business in terms of cost. There's a popular belief that starting a business requires lots of money and only people that have investors or lots of money or deep pockets can start a business. But I believe that is not true. And technology especially has matured a lot, and that has really accelerated the ability of many people to launch a business inexpensively, especially a service business, and get up and running at a very low cost. It's making it easier than ever to launch a business. So again, there's a few myths about starting a business related to cost. We're going to talk about that, starting with myth number one: starting a business requires a lot of money. So this idea that starting a business requires a lot of money is pretty common. It's a common misconception. We're taught that Shark Tank and all these shows that show us, hey, you need lots of money and capital and startup costs and all this stuff, and this glamorous view of starting this crazy change the world type of business. And some of those businesses do require lots of money, and especially the kinds that are very unique and launching an app or launching something totally different. But the reality is that many businesses like, digital products, courses and communities, freelance services, general service businesses, they have low overhead. And you can start these businesses often with a few $100s. There's other businesses like brick and mortar stores or manufacturing companies. They might require more significant investments, but that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. I'm talking about just getting something off the ground to make money, small business. The key to starting a business is focus on your core competencies. Focus on something you can do well that has a market and keeps your overhead costs low. Start something small. Test your business idea before you scale up. Use free or really low cost tools to build your website. Go get by with as little as you can in terms of startup cost and get something up and running quickly. It's also really tempting to think you need a loan to start a business. Avoid this if at all possible. Please, please, please try to avoid taking out a loan or borrowing money to start a business. You want to start your business with as much momentum as possible, and debt will hamper your efforts to get ahead. It adds unnecessary risk and is not needed for most simple service businesses. So start small, get a few customers or clients, reinvest your profits, grow slowly. It's not as sexy as the startup stories we see on TV and in the media, but it's a lot more sustainable way to grow a business and has a higher chance of success. Myth number two: you need to have investors to start a successful business. No, no, no. Another common myth about entrepreneurship is you need to have investors to start a successful business. While having investors can be beneficial for some businesses, it's not a prerequisite for success. In fact, many successful businesses started without any outside funding. Having investors can, give you capital, expertise, and connections that can help you grow, but it also comes with some significant downsides. Investors usually they're going to expect a return on their investment, which means that you're going to give up a portion of your equity or profits and control, and you suddenly lose a lot of control when you have investors. A lot of complexity is added. So go back to myth number one: grow slowly. Be patient. Finding investors for the average business is really, really difficult. A lot of times that we're starting like a simple service business and we think, oh, we need investors. No investor is going to want to invest in a simple service business that's starting up. Like, that's not how it works. They invest in software companies and apps and big world changing things that are, on a grand scale. And that's pretty rare for those things to actually succeed. So we don't necessarily want to make that our plan A. So, it adds a lot of complexity. You're probably not going to get investors. It's probably not a path that's viable. So instead, pick something simple and easy to execute. Execute and then grow slowly and sustainably. That is the path for success when it comes to a simple small business. Myth number 3, you need to quit your day job to start a business. So many people believe that starting a business requires full-time dedication and that quitting your day job is the only way to make it work. It is true. Running a business takes time and effort, but it's very possible and very advantageous in many cases to balance a day job while you're starting a side hustle. In fact, starting a side hustle while you keep your day job is often the most reliable way to get up and running. You don't sacrifice your current income. It means you can take your time, you can grow your business, you guessed it, slowly and sustainably. And this takes a lot of pressure off, really sets you up for greater success. So balancing a day job and a side hustle can be challenging, but it's not impossible. It takes discipline, time management skills, a clear plan. Work on your side hustle during your free time, evenings, weekends, lunch breaks. Use your day job to fund that startup and test your business idea before you commit to going full time. So the advantage of keeping your day job while starting a business is that you have a steady income and the benefits, and that can keep you afloat during those early stages of your business startup. And it gives you time to refine your business idea, build your network, learn from your mistakes. So take your time. Don't jump straight into quitting your job and starting a business necessarily. Myth number 4, starting a business is a quick way to get rich. So I believe that, business ownership is one of the 3 pillars of wealth. The stock market and investing is one, real estate is one, and business ownership is one. I participate in 2 of those right now, business ownership and the stock market. So I'm a big fan of business ownership, huge fan of entrepreneurship. I believe it is absolutely a fantastic wealth building path. But the idea that starting a business is a quick way to get rich is a myth, often leads to disappointment and failure. In reality, building a business takes time, effort, lots and lots of patience. It requires, a solid plan, a unique value proposition, understanding your target market. Now, I'm not one of these people that thinks you need a business plan necessarily. I'm not a fan of business plans. They're often a waste of time. They're a 50-page document that nobody cares about. So I'm not saying like go all in with this massive business plan. I'm saying have a plan for what you're going to do, a simple approach to how you're going to make money. It requires resilience. You have to adapt, have to be flexible, have to learn from your mistakes. Many startups and small businesses experience setbacks. They have to pivot, they have to fail before they find something viable that works. So, the key is stay focused on your goals, keep iterating until you find the right formula for success. So, starting a business is challenging, but it is rewarding in many cases. But it requires that combination of hard work, creativity, and persistence, and lots of patience. Persistence and patience are really, I'm convinced, the keys to success when starting a business. All right, so let's talk about some example costs. What's the nuts and bolts of what it really does cost to start a simple service business? So here's a few things you might expect when starting a business, and to think about. So first, business entity formation. There's no one right type of entity for a business. They all have pros and cons, but honestly, the vast majority of small, simple service businesses are really well served by operating as an LLC. An LLC stands for limited liability company, and it's a low cost, flexible business entity that works well for a lot of businesses. The costs for forming an LLC vary state by state. They can range from $50 to up to $800. In California, for example, is $800. That's more the exception. Most states land on the lower end of the spectrum of, a few $100s or less. So, once the LLC is formed, luckily the EIN is free and the business bank account is generally free. So, the kind of the 3 things you need to be an entity would be the LLC, the EIN, which is your employer identification number, and then the business bank account. Also, domain, email, and cloud platform. You need something to kind of run your business on, your email system, your calendaring, your cloud storage, stuff like that. So you're going to need a domain name for your email service, basic cloud platform for your file storage and calendar. So domain registration is typically in the range of $10 to $20 per year, very minimal. Your email and cloud service is going to be around $10 per month. I like Google Workspace. You can also use Microsoft 365. They work fine. So that's going to be pretty minimal. Next, website. You need a website to be taken seriously. Don't overlook this. Good news is it's pretty easy and inexpensive. Set up something inexpensive on a DIY platform, Wix, Weebly, or Squarespace. They're all fine. Don't overthink it. They're going to be about $25 a month. Just get something simple, 1 or 2 pages to start with, something basic. You can always expand it later and make it better. Accounting and billing. something low cost and simple so that you can do your bookkeeping, some things you can invoice your clients and customers. You can take payments online. QuickBooks Online and Wave are a couple of things that can do this. QuickBooks Online is about $25 a month or so. Wave is free. So I'm a big fan of Wave. It's a good option for startups. It will let you, again, invoice clients and take payments online so that your clients can pay you via credit card or e-check. It's a great system. Contracts and agreements. Let's say you have contracts you need people to sign before they work with you. PandaDoc is a great tool for this. You can get free tools for electronic signature. PandaDoc is one that has a free plan. You can use that to get your contract signed and do business. And then some miscellaneous stuff. Other expenses are going to depend on your business. But, if you're starting a lawn mowing company, for example, you need to buy a lawnmower, obviously. If you're starting a marketing consulting business, you might need some basic software to do your stuff, But in general, you should be able to start many businesses for under $1,500 or so and then grow from there. So, it doesn't take much. So if you need some inspiration for some simple service businesses that are inexpensive to start, I do have another article on my website called My Favorite Easy to Launch Service Business Ideas. So search my website for that, and I've got a list on there for you as well. So with that, wrapping up, starting a business is exciting. It can be challenging and exciting. It requires a combination of skills and mindset and perseverance. But, we want to overcome and debunk these myths that it's very expensive to start a business. That holds a lot of people back, and it keeps a lot of people from going forward and just executing. It also causes many people to go into debt prematurely and unnecessarily when they should be just starting something minimal, starting something basic, getting up and running, making money fast. You don't need a lot of money for the vast majority of small, simple service businesses. So be resourceful, be persistent, execute, and you can launch a successful business on a budget and achieve those goals of entrepreneurship. So don't let that hold you back, and don't let the myth of startup costs point you in the wrong direction as well. So again, I love talking entrepreneurship. So if you ever want to reach out, feel free to reach out via my website. That's easy to do. My website is elevationfinancial.com. I work with a lot of business owners, especially solo and startup business owners, as well as others. So feel free to reach out. You can book a complimentary money session on my website if you want to chat. And I'm always happy to answer questions and talk about what it looks like to work with me as a client. Again, elevationfinancial.com. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Have a great day. We will see you next time.